The stories behind antiques are what makes them enthralling and fun. When her grandmother's house was getting a general appraisal, this painting got valued at $200. But on the show, it got a super high value, and that made her break down in tears.
I don't even know what to say.
She inherited the painting after her grandmother passed, and just as she was prepping it to take it to college, she realized that it could be something valuable. The painting was done by Henry Francois Farney, a France-born American painter whose works were mainly based on the lives of Native Americans. Henry's close association with Native Americans influenced his painting style.
He did eventually spend a lot of time with the Sioux Indians, and they did adopt him and gave him the name Long Boots.
For a painting that was appraised at $200, the owner was amazed when the appraiser said,
I would suggest an estimate of $200,000 to $300,000.
Oh my God. That's so much.
The guest aunt, Renee Thornton, who was the Duchess of D'Andrea of Italy, received this diamond ring when she got engaged to the Duke of Italy.
I mean, it must have been an amazing engagement ring.
Yeah,
I mean,
can you
just
imagine?
the size of it. I can't. I mean, it's so sweet, the heart, and then obviously the crown up top.
Years later, the guest mother inherited it, but didn't fancy it as an engagement ring. So she turned the ring into a pendant. The positioning of platinum and yellow gold on the ring indicated that it was an early 20th century piece weighing about 20 carats in diamonds. With the maker's mark missing, it was difficult to determine its origin. And although that was the case, this ring still valued at
$20,000.
Are you kidding me?
Originally made to serve as a vase, this item was turned into a hiding spot for Easter eggs. The piece was passed down for years in the guest mother's family. It was a Japanese vase called gu, which was an imitation of an earlier piece that was used to hold wine.
It was conceived by an artisan, a designer who said, I'm going to make this fabulous bronze vessel.
The shape of the vase was inspired from an old Chinese bronze, zun. On the body of the vase were attractive stylized designs, which were usually found in early period pieces. Pieces of this kind didn't value a lot of money, but because the guest piece was wonderfully made, it valued at
$1,000 to $1,500 at auction.
I'm stunned by what you told me.
It's strange to hear that people were getting arrested for polygamy when you live in a time where sexuality is being taught to be completely diverse. Back in the 19th century, most Mormon men were ordained to practice polygamy, and while this was the norm for them, the federal government and Utah Territory kicked against it and incarcerated those who practiced it in the Utah Territorial Prison, known today as Sugar House. The guest great-grandfather was one of those who were incarcerated, and while in prison, he had this book, which he passed on to his fellow inmates to write in. Among those who autographed the book was George Quayle Cannon, a high-rank official of the Mormon Church.
If he had lived, more than likely he would have gone on to become the president of the LDS Church itself.
Even with the pages torn apart, the book's value was $3,000 to $5,000. Unsure whether this birdcage aquarium would still function properly, the show's appraiser chose to give it a very conservative value. The item was built by the guest grandfather, who was an ironworker in New York. Nicknamed Monstrosity by the guest family because of its heavy weight, this item was indeed heavy due to the amount of metal used to craft it.
And that really takes us back into a time in America where we had much more focus on the mechanical arts.
The birdcage above was joined by an aquarium below. Together with the item, the guest brought a sketch of it that showed how intricately crafted the piece was. However, due to the uncertainty surrounding its likelihood to function like before, it received a value of $3,000 to $5,000. Contrary to what people thought this box was made for, the appraiser thinks that it was made for decorative things or souvenirs. The box was made out of papier-mâché and assumed to have been used as a snuff box. But the appraiser noted that if that was the case, the delicate nature of papier-mâché would have shown marks of peeling or burns. The design on the box was of high quality, although the absence of a signature made it difficult to pinpoint the maker. If a signature was present, its worth would have been 1,000 to 1,500 pounds. Being friends with a miner came with gold benefits for this woman's mother. When the woman was 5, her family lived close to a 49er miner who became friends with them. The gentleman mined gold in Sacramento during the California gold rush and gifted the guest mother an unpolished pure gold necklace.
Most of the gold that came from the California finds came up as these little bits of these little flakes, tiny little flakes.
Only a few people were lucky to find gold during the gold rush, and the gentleman must have been one of them to be able to gift out a charming necklace such as this. Given the history of the California gold rush, the jewelry valued at $1,500 to $2,500.
I just don't believe that. Well, my mother would be thrilled.
His 92-year-old mother guessed that this was a Scandinavian rug, but he felt it looked more like Native American. Mom was in fact right. It was a Swedish rug made in the late 19th century. The use of a big loom to make the rug indicated that it was sewn roughly about 1880, which was around the time the bigger looms were introduced. Its vibrant color seemed to be natural dye, and the technique used in weaving was called rollicon. These types of rugs weren't widely seen because they were not made as export items.
I've also seen them referred to as carriage rugs, meaning it's sort of the size that would have been made to go over a couple people's laps if they were in a carriage or in an open motor car.
In terms of value, it was placed at $4,000.
Wow. Wow. They're that rare and they're that sought after.
Before the spiral jetty was constructed, many contractors passed on the project, except the guest father, who was finally hired by the sculptor of the project, Robert Smithson. The guest father felt the project was so special that he kept the sketches and hung a large photo of the spiral jetty on the wall of their home.
Absolutely. It's definitely a very special place for my family. We went out there.
The spiral jetty is a 1,500-long sculpture built with mud, salt crystals, and basalt rocks on the shore of the Great Salt Lake. Just like the guest father thought, the spiral jetty is a very special project, which made the sketches equally important. They showcased the progression of the project as time went on. The sketches and autographed picture by Robert summed up to a value of $47,500.
That's pretty staggering. I mean, that really would have delighted my dad.
This jug from the 18th century, with names inscribed, were used as milk jugs or general home jugs. From the inspection of the jug, the appraiser guessed that it may have been a wedding present made in Newcastle. The jugs were referred to as creamware due to their cream-colored body. Creamwares were created around 1750 and lasted till the 1840s. Although the guest's jug had a chip at the edge, the local connection and beautiful design made it value between 750 to 1,000 pounds. Surprisingly, this magnificent clock didn't value much compared to the $3,000 buying price. The owner found the clock at an auction shop in Prague and fell so in love with it that she bought it. Its beauty was definitely enchanting, even for the appraiser. Unlike many others like it, this particular clock was bigger in size. Made in 1915 by a company in Germany called Linskirch, the combination of Art Deco and Art Nouveau styles added to the clock's uniqueness. For such a clock, the appraiser gave a value of
$3,800.
All right. That's great. That's good news.
Very good.
Who wouldn't want to bring out their finest dishes to serve food when hosting parties? In the cabin that the guest grandfather bought, they found this decorative platter. The platter, which was referred to as Metlock, was made in Germany by Villeroy and Bach. As opposed to what the guest initially thought, the platter was in the Art Nouveau style, and the person behind its design was a French painter, Charles René Thevenin.
And the plaque is 2542. It's one of a pair. And so there's another one that looks very similar to this.
With the popularity of the platter among Metlock collectors, its value was
around $3,000 to $4,000.
That makes my day.
The owner will surely need to guard it closely from now on when using it at parties. Beautiful or hideous? When this woman and her husband chose to buy this rug, they were unsure of its physical appeal. However, they bought it anyway. The piece was a scrim for hooked rugs, which originated from New England before spreading to other regions.
One of the most fascinating things as a hooked rug scrim is the detail that you get in the printed cat.
Before they came widely produced during the late 19th century, hooked rugs were done by housewives to create decorative household items. The makers of the guest piece was unknown, and because it wasn't an item that was commonly found in the marketplace, its value was $250. During the Broadway production of Grease, this man worked as a hairdresser for Brooke Shields. At the end of her run, Brooke gave him her dress, which she used on the show. The dress was designed by Bob Mackie, an American fashion designer who is known for designing entertainment icons.
And Dolly Parton said Bob Mackie made her look beautiful and feel like a lady because he was so incredible.
A few weeks after the show's wrap, the guest and Bob Mackie saw each other at an event, and Bob autographed the dress and also sent him a copy of the sketch. The guest pieces and the story behind them was captivating.
And so at auction, I would believe that this would probably bring $7,500.
That's the best gift ever. Thanks, Brooke.
Yeah.
On getting to an estate sale, this lady realized that it was the home of the American actor Carroll O'Connor. Carroll's daughter-in-law organized the sale after the death of Carroll's wife. When the guest went up to the master bedroom, she picked out this coat that was worn by Carroll in the show All in the Family. Carroll O'Connor gained widespread popularity due to his role as the show's main character, Archie Bunker.
In that episode, when Sammy kissed Archie at the end of the show, that broke the laugh record on that TV program.
With the importance and recognition of the show, the coat's value was $10,000 to $20,000. These are iconic photographs of John F. Kennedy, captured by the guest himself. The iconic photographs you see here capture pivotal moments in American history. Here, you can see Lyndon B. Johnson being sworn in on Air Force One after Kennedy's assassination. Sadly, the guest also recounts scenes from the horrible assassination of John F. Kennedy.
Horrible assassination. I was in one of the cars in the motorcade, 5 cars back. Heard 3 very distinct reports. Sounded like rifle shots.
Now, this particular photograph was signed by Jacqueline and John F. Kennedy as a gift. Moving on to the valuation of these iconic photographs, they were valued at a sum of $75,000. We have an extraordinary piece, a Chinese altar garniture. The guest parents purchased this set in Yokohama during their summer vacation in the 30s. This ensemble, known as a garniture, consists of a gu, a censer, and cricket candle holders. At auction, this Chinese altar garniture is estimated to be worth $15,000 and $25,000. A remarkable collection of 6 vibrant Civil War battle scenes, inherited by the guest from their aunt, who, in turn, had acquired them from her husband, an avid collector. The collection is part of a renowned series of Civil War prints, originally consisting of 32 different battles. Here's what the appraiser has to say about this.
These were done in the late 1880s and 1890s. Right after the Civil War, people were kind of just wanting to avoid it. By the late 19th century, they finally started saying, well, yes, it was tragic, but we can maybe start to celebrate some of the heroism in it.
These prints, dating back to the late 1880s and 1890s, are the work of Kurz and Allison, a Chicago-based firm. Their bold, mural-like style aimed to capture the heroism of the Civil War. The chromolithography technique, evident in these prints, show their authenticity.
But also you want good margins, and these are all the full margins on them. Now they do have some nicks and a few chips, but that's fairly minor. You wouldn't knock off really anything significant for the condition issues.
With retail prices ranging from $600 to $700 each, the total estimated value of the collection is between $3,600 and $4,200.
Very good.
This is a manuscript poem authorized by the iconic Oscar Wilde. Here's the intriguing story behind this amazing piece.
I worked for a woman when I was in college taking care of show dogs that she had. She approached me one day and she said, I know you're an English major, you'd like this, and she handed it to me.
Christian Goss, the father-in-law of the guest employer, received it during the Dreyfus trial in Paris. The poem, titled Ideal Love, a Sonnet, is a known work by Wilde, and The New Remorse was dedicated to his lover, Lord Alfred Douglas, in 1891. Wilde's tumultuous life, marked by persecution for his lifestyle and imprisonment, adds substantial historical weight to this manuscript. The manuscript's value years ago received estimates in the range of $5,000 to $6,000. Considering the historical significance, the appraiser confidently estimates the manuscript's value at...
We put an auction estimate conservatively of $10,000 to $15,000 today.
Great.
An autographed guitar from the World War II era, which was a gift to her husband from Special Services during World War II, was brought in. During the late 60s, the guitar underwent a transformation when various stars added their autographs to it. Crafted by the K Company of Chicago, Illinois in the mid-1940s, this arch-topped guitar boasts intricate tooled detailing on its front. Now, the real magic happens when we turn our attention to the autographs. Starting at the back, we have legends like Mel Tillis, Hank Thompson, Connie Smith, and Red Foley. Turning it around, we reveal signatures from icons like Loretta Lynn and Dolly Parton. Let's see what the value of this piece is.
The added leather work and the autographs, I would put it more in the range of a collectible worth about $1,000.
I understand.
This is the Piazza del Duomo alabaster sculpture. It was discovered in an antique store in Natchez, Mississippi, nearly 3 decades ago. The Piazza del Duomo holds historical significance as one of Italy's earliest cathedrals. This model intricately captures the baptistry, a separate structure from the church, and the renowned Leaning Tower of Pisa. Crafted in the 1890s, it's a grand tour item, a popular creation for European tourists. Despite the initial asking price of $4,000, it was secured for $1,900, and in today's market, the value will be around $5,000. An antique amethyst change purse, which belonged to a New York City native who passed away in 1980, was affectionately referred to as the Mad Money Purse and holds both sentimental and historical value. Crafted in the late 1890s, this piece is a testament to the Gilded Age's opulence. The 10-carat amethyst atop the purse adds a touch of luxury. What's truly remarkable is the impeccable condition of the mesh. Stamped 14-carat on the top, this purse is a hallmark from the renowned Carter Guff Company of Newark. The value of this will leave you shocked.
But no, I don't.
Similar examples retail are between $5,000 and $7,000.
Hoo-ha.
Hoo-ha, I love
Hoo-ha.
This is an antique gemstone necklace dating back to 1885. The stunning piece belonged to their great-great-grandmother, and their grandmother bestowed it upon them, referring to it as costume jewelry, crafted in 14-karat gold and adorned with an array of tourmalines, peridots, and old mine-cut diamonds. This necklace captures the essence of late 19th century jewelry. It was crafted by Marcus & Company, founded by a former Tiffany & Company artisan. The family engraving makes it a cherished heirloom. The necklace valued at auction between $6,000 and $8,000. We're unveiling a Boy Scout quilt with a rich history. Crafted by the guest great-grandmother in 1936, this quilt is adorned with a collection of Boy Scout patches earned by the guest father during his teenage years. This meticulously crafted quilt showcases an impressive achievement in the Boy Scouts. From a variety of badges to the esteemed Order of the Arrow, they are all captured in this heirloom. Can you guess the price of this item?
Consideration. I would say the quilt itself is worth about $3,000.
Really?
On the retail market.
Oh, wow.
This is an original manuscript by the legendary Truman Capote. Here, the owner reflects on their role at Playboy magazine.
I used to call myself the rationale editor because everybody says they buy it for the articles. But in fact, in that capacity, I edited a lot of great writers.
The manuscript in question holds the secret of Capote's intimate connection with Tennessee Williams. The manuscript arrives in a distinct Capote longhand, revealing the writer's traditional approach. Longhand manuscripts from the renowned 20th century author are increasingly rare. Capote's distinctive handwriting and the imperfections of the first draft add layers of significance to this literary artifact. The expert appraiser unveils the estimated auction value.
I would safely auction estimate the manuscript at $20,000 to $30,000.
Wow. Well, I'm glad I kept it in my lockbox all these years.
Fantastic. I'm glad you did too.
This episode hosted an oil painting by Theora Hamblett. Theora Hamblett's signature style includes speckled foliage, broad color expanses, and visionary elements. Here's what the guest has to say about this piece.
And this one was done for a friend of mine's dad who was the Baptist preacher in town. She did this of his two little girls. One of the little girls had blonde hair.
Hamblett's medium of choice, oil on canvas, embodies her vibrant and contemplative expressions. Rarely seen in the market, it's estimated to be worth between $6,000 and $8,000.
Probably be in the between $6,000 and $8,000 range.
A fascinating ornamental turning lathe responsible for Holtz-Apfel lathe, a genuine artifact which is very rare to come by, especially complete with its original treadle. This traces back to 1828, owned by the guest great-great-great-grandfather. Here's what the appraiser has to say about this piece.
To be right. Now, there is actually, the records are known for Holtz-Apfel, and it is possible, I haven't been able to do it, but to find out precisely when this was made and who it was supplied to. Oh, right. But for that, you need to find the number.
Yes. Exploring the lathe's tool cabinet, the appraiser discovers original tools signed Holtz-Apfel. Can you guess the price of this?
Like this, probably £2,000–3,000.
Yes.
But believe it or not, a box of chisel like this, probably £700–800, something like that. Great stuff. Thank you very much.
A whimsical whistling bird, which is a delightful creation that emits a whimsical tune when blown through its tail.
It's made as a whistle. You blow through its tail, yes, and it makes a little whistling noise.
Mm. The bird's vibrant colors and primitive appearance makes it an eye-catcher. The owner acquired it from a local antique store without really knowing what it was. The bird is just a local pot made for fun, and that's it. After expert scrutiny, the value of this piece is...
I sort of suggest something like about £80.
I see, yes.
Here is a collection of watercolors and drawings by Yorkshire artist Frederick Cecil Jones. Each piece unfolds a narrative of landscapes, industrial scenes, and the artist's keen eye for detail. They were acquired by the guest husband at an auction 20 years ago. This collection captures it all, from the view of Beverly to Pudsey, and a potential industrial landscape of Halifax. Frederick Cecil Jones was known for his signature printmaking skill in the drawings, making them unique. The value of this collection is estimated to be £15,000 to £20,000.
A lot.
Now?
Yes.
Now?
Yes.
Oh.
This is an extraordinary Tang Dynasty marble sculpture. It was acquired by the guest grandparents on their trip to China. The sculpture was, however, made within the golden period of Chinese art, the Tang Dynasty. It is also among the first Chinese art to be seen on the Roadshow. The beautiful carving and stunning workmanship tell a lot about the mastery of the carver. It is also made of the finest quality made in the market. This amazing piece goes for between $120,000 and $180,000.
Wow. For insurance purposes. I'm just really pleased.
So it's worth lugging it in here.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
Stay tuned to our channel for more.